President Donald Trump has launched a major move against Representative Jaime Rascin, exposing a $160 million USID fraud scandal allegedly tied to him. As more documents surface and witnesses speak out, Trump takes swift action, shaking Washington to its core. This explosive revelation could trigger investigations that reach the highest levels of Congress. It all began with a single, unmarked envelope that arrived at the White House at 6:47 a.m. Just after Trump's morning briefing, it was marked confidential, no return address, only the presidential seal with a fingerprint smudge. Inside, Trump found grainy photos, bank transfers, and a chilling sentence. Jaime Rascin has stolen $160 million meant for starving children in West Africa. Trump sat still for nearly 5 minutes before ordering immediate action. "Get the FBI director now," he said. What began as a whisper soon erupted into a nationwide scandal. In a confidential meeting in the Situation Room, Trump and his inner circle, FBI, CIA, DOJ, learned the shocking truth. The stolen aid, originally intended for health clinics in Ghana, had been funneled through shell companies in the Cayman Islands tied to Rascin's cousin. Anger filled the room, and Trump's voice grew cold. He stole our aid, our taxpayer money, and funneled it into his own pocket. Within hours, Trump convened a surprise press conference, holding up the damning evidence. Jaime Rascin stole $160 million from American aid programs, Trump declared, his voice quivering with righteous anger. This money was meant for children, dying children. He took it, and he laughed while they starved. Behind him, the media showed images of African children suffering, their eyes sunken and ribs visible. The press room fell silent, and millions of Americans began to understand. It wasn't just politics. It was evil. Later, Sarah Njoku, a former USID field supervisor from Nigeria, came forward. She had witnessed the disappearance of the aid firsthand. Trucks full of medicine vanished. Clinics shut down. Babies died, she said, tears in her eyes. Trump, visibly moved, stepped forward. "No more silence," he said. "Not on my watch." The room erupted into chaos. The American public had now seen the human cost of Rascin's betrayal. By the next day, Trump's team released bombshell evidence, a leaked internal memo from Rascin's office, warning of the missing funds. The memo was authenticated and posted for the world to see. The silence on Capitol Hill grew deafening. Some of Rascin's closest allies began to distance themselves. That night, a mother from Sierra Leone appeared on national TV, holding a photo of her deceased son, Musa. "He died because the clinic closed," she said, sobbing. "We waited for help that never came." Her words cut through the nation's heart. America wept with her. The truth was undeniable. On the third day of the scandal, a whistleblower from inside Rascin's office sent a tip to the White House. The evidence was damning, emails and memos outlining how Rascin had misappropriated funds through fake NGO contracts. The corruption ran deep. By day 4, Trump was unwavering. "This is not about politics anymore. It's about justice," he said during a live address. The nation was watching, and the momentum continued to build. Rascin's fall from grace was swift. FBI agents uncovered more evidence linking him to illegal transactions and fraudulent projects. One such project promised clean water tanks in Liberia, but investigators found nothing but an empty field. The media exploded with the hashtag number Rascin scandal, and even those who had once defended him began to turn. In Congress, the truth became undeniable. One of Rascin's longtime allies, Congressman David Morales, tearfully admitted, "I defended him. I looked up to him. But this is evil, and I apologize for not seeing it sooner." The chamber fell silent as he held up a photo of Dabo, the boy from Sagal, who had almost died because of Rascin's actions. By day 5, Trump ordered a top-level audit of every USID project tied to Rascin's name. The findings were shocking. 42 out of 67 projects had missing receipts, inflated invoices, or no vendors at all. Trump didn't gloat. He simply said, "This isn't about politics anymore. It's about broken promises and lost lives." That afternoon, Rascin collapsed in the Capitol building after a reporter confronted him about the scandal. His body hit the floor, and it was clear he had finally realized the weight of his actions. In the West Wing, Trump reflected on the human cost. "If we lose compassion, we lose everything," he said quietly in an interview. It wasn't about revenge, it was about justice. On day 6, a shocking discovery was made. Rascin's office had been using burner phones and hidden ledgers to track illegal wire transfers. One of Rascin's former allies, Morales, now publicly declared, "It's not about politics anymore. It's about what's right." The final blow came when Moses Admi, a father from Ghana, held up a teddy bear on TV and said, "She held this when she died." His daughter Esther had died because the medicine never arrived. "To the man who stole from my daughter, I forgive you, but I will never forget." Trump promised justice, and a movement began. Not political, but human. Sitting before a Senate subcommittee, her words echoed across America. "My granddaughter bled to death because the clinic had no clean tools, and the money meant for medical kits vanished," she said, voice soft but steady. "I don't know politics. I only know that the man who exposed the truth is Donald Trump." She held up a photo of her granddaughter wrapped in a blanket. "I beg you, let there be justice." Trump watched her testimony from the White House. He didn't smile, didn't speak. He quietly placed the photo beside one of Sagal's and whispered, "That's why I won't stop." Under pressure, Jaime Rascin agreed to a primetime interview. "Did you take the money?" the anchor asked. Rascin hesitated. "I didn't personally steal anything." The wrong answer. "Did you authorize the transfers?" Silence. "Have you seen the pictures, the dead children?" The silence spoke volumes. By morning, even Rascin's supporters were calling for his resignation. Trump tweeted one word: cold. It rang in headlines for days. On Saturday, Trump attended a vigil at the National Cathedral for the children lost due to failed aid. No speeches, just names read aloud. As the last bell tolled, a small boy tugged at Trump's coat. "Thank you for telling the truth," he whispered. Trump knelt. "I did it for you," he said softly, "and for all of them." The next shock came when a federal agent discovered a laptop in Rascin's campaign storage. Hidden under documents, labeled 2023 private, it contained damning evidence, bank transfers, encrypted chats, and an audio clip of Rascin admitting they were just kids overseas. No one notices unless someone like Trump sticks his nose in. The clip exploded online. Hashtags like #KidsNotCash flooded social media. Trump addressed the nation. No more excuses. No more hiding. This wasn't just fraud. This was murder by greed. The fallout was swift. 5 congressional aides resigned in one day, including Laura Jensen, who posted a tearful letter on social media. "I stayed silent and kids died. I can't live with that anymore." Her words reached millions. Trump wasn't playing politics, she said. He was saving lives. Meanwhile, Rascin hadn't been seen in public for days. One senator privately whispered, "The walls are closing in." In Burkina Faso, a teacher named Blessing showed CNN an empty school. "We were promised books, desks, clean water. None of it came." A child asked, "Miss, is it because we don't matter?" Blessing knelt beside him. "No, sweetheart. It's because one man didn't care." Trump quietly donated $2 million to help the school. But when a reporter uncovered it, Trump simply said, "It's not charity, it's repair." Even his harshest critics couldn't deny it. Trump had done the right thing. A small-town pastor in Alabama delivered a sermon, holding up a photo of Esther, a girl who died from untreated pneumonia. "This isn't about race, party, or politics. This is about right and wrong," he said. The video went viral. Trump didn't look away, the pastor said. He stood up for the voiceless. Meanwhile, donations poured in for schools and clinics across Africa. The country was beginning to ask, had we been looking at Trump all wrong? Rascin, holed up in his study, was confronted by his wife. "You stole their medicine, Jamie. They're reading names in churches." He sat in silence, knowing the world was turning against him. Trump, learning of Rascin's breakdown, didn't celebrate. He simply directed the DOJ to reroute frozen assets from Rascin's accounts into children's hospitals in Africa. No press, just action. A few days later, Rascin was arrested quietly. Trump, focused on a roundtable discussion with medical leaders, was asked if he felt vindicated. "No," Trump replied. "I feel responsible. Leadership means protecting those who can't speak for themselves." That evening, Jaime Rascin released a statement. "I let greed blind me. The blood is on my hands. President Trump didn't do this to destroy me. He did it to save lives." The nation, still reeling from the revelation, saw redemption. Trump's leadership continued to make an impact. Donations surged and a new emergency fund was established to support African outreach. Trump placed a white rose at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. "For every child who never got to grow up," he whispered. On the White House lawn, rows of white flags with children's names fluttered. Trump walked among them, pausing to read each one. "This wasn't about exposing a man," he said. "It was about revealing a truth. They were forgotten." But not anymore. Trump's leadership continued to make an impact. Donations surged, and a new emergency fund was established to support African outreach. Trump placed a white rose at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. "For every child who never got to grow up," he whispered. On the White House lawn, rows of white flags with children's names fluttered. Trump walked among them, pausing to read each one. "This wasn't about exposing a man," he said. "It was about revealing a truth. They were forgotten, but not anymore." Rascin's arrest marked the end of one chapter. The nation had witnessed not just a takedown, but accountability with compassion. The story wasn't over, but America was united in a way it hadn't been in years. As Trump knelt to place a single rose at the memorial wall, a little girl in the crowd shouted, "We believe in you." Mr. President Trump turned, smiled, and raised his hand. He didn't need words. The story had already spoken.